right, so here are 3 rotational exercises that you can be working on to get more depth in your backswing so that you can come up to the ball with more power. We really want to, with any of these rotational exercises, we're trying to really build this elasticity, just like we're a rubber band, like we're really stretching. Right before you shoot it, you stretch that rubber band and then you let it go and it soars. That's what we're trying to do with our body, really trying to stretch, and then snap through to give us that power. So these 3 exercises are great for working on that. This first one is a banded rotational exercise. I have it hooked up to a doorknob here. Obviously be careful if you're doing this at home. Make sure you have a nice secure door that's not just going to fall off. Okay, so I'm stepping inside of this band and I'm gonna put it right around my belt line, okay? Right by my hips. And what I'm doing is I'm going to step away from the band here, all right? I'm lining up like this because I hit right-handed. So if you are left-handed, you can switch this up. Or if you like to work it both ways, probably not a bad idea, okay? So I got a good amount of pressure here on this. It's not slack, it's pretty tight, okay? So what I'm going to do now is work on that swing, but I have to stay in this position. This is kind of working on eliminating that sway in our swing, because if we let the band pull us, our hips are gonna go back here, our center of gravity is going to be off, and it's going to be harder to come down on that ball with a lot of power, okay? So keeping this stance here, being nice and strong to the feet, resisting the band, working on rotating and coming through. Return, rotating back, and coming through. I don't want to see this kind of collapse there, okay? Really holding my ground against this band, all right? The next exercise here is just a swing drill, an opener here. You can do this with a golf club, you can do it with a weighted ball in the gym. I'm gonna try to use this PVC here, but all we're working on is that opening up when we swing, twisting our torso with it, getting into that backswing, keeping the feet nice and level. You can even twist the pelvis here a little, just like we're going back in the swing here. Building that elasticity, getting far back so that we can come through, okay? Again, you can work this one both ways if you'd like. Since I'm right-handed, this is the one I'm kind of focusing on right here. All right, and the last one is this kickstand airplane, okay? So what we are going to do here, this is going to be focused on getting internal rotation of this back hip. If we want to get into our backswing, we gotta make sure that we can rotate around this hip. A lot of people that I see that can't get into the backswing, they are stiff in their hips. So what do they have to do? They have to use much more of their back to get here, because this hip, they can't rotate around this hip. So we're going to be working on the control of the rotation around this, the strength and the mobility here, all right? So what I'm doing is I'm getting in a staggered position, right foot in front of the left, and I'm going to be pivoting, just like this is the T, I'm going to be pivoting around this leg. So what I'm going to do here, get the bar up around my shoulders, I'm going to bring it, I'm pretending that this shoulder and this back hip are connected. When my shoulder comes through, this hip comes through. When this shoulder comes back, this hip comes back, okay? So here, getting over that foot, closing that down, and then opening it up. And this whole time, I'm staying planted firm. This foot is staying firm on the ground. I'm not letting it, I'm not trying to tilt it, I'm not falling all over the place. Nice firm contact on the ground, closing, opening it up. So if you can see this from the front, I'm going to be closing. See how I'm closing that angle? I'm really pivoting on this hip here. Almost fell over there. Pivoting on this hip here, and then opening up from that hip as well. So what this looks like from the front, closing that hip down. Should almost feel a nice stretch right in the back of that glute. Closing that hip down, opening it up. Okay, shouldn't have any pinchiness in this one. If you're having a pinch in the front of the hip, this is something that you should book a free consultation for and come into us and talk with us about it, because this is something we've seen before. But we shouldn't have pain or pinchiness with any of these exercises.